Hi, hope you're doing okay. Today, I wanted to talk about some albums that I've been listening to throughout the month of June. Some of these are going to be new releases, and others are going to be first-time listens, and others are albums that I have been listening to for a long time. The first album I want to talk about for this video is Turnstile's Never Enough. This is the latest record from the, I guess you can call them a hardcore band. I don't know if they still are or not. But this is their new record. I really love it. I'm a big fan of this band. I have been for a few years now. I got to see them back in 2023 when they opened for Blink. That was an awesome live performance from them, and I was really anticipating this record. I got to go to the screening of the Never Enough movie music video thing, and that was a ton of fun. Just a bunch of fans hanging out and listening to the new album and having a good time. The album probably doesn't reach the heights of Glow On for me. That album, I think Glow On just has a lot of nostalgia, I guess, at this point. I don't know if that's the right word because the album's not that old. It doesn't quite reach the heights of that, but I still think it's pretty great, and it's one of my favorites of the year. There's a couple songs here and there that I'm like, this is okay, or it doesn't do anything for me, but I love Dole. Light Design's another cool one. I like Sun Shower. There's a lot of songs on here that I think really rock and are really great. The next album I want to talk about is the new Haim record, I Quit. Haim is a band I got into a few years ago, around the time of Women in Music and around the time of the release of Licorice Pizza. So that was sort of another introduction to that band for me, was Alana Haim's performance in that film. I really like this record. It's not my favorite record of theirs for sure. It's a little bloated at points, and there's a couple songs that don't do much. They're doing interesting stuff with mixes of pop and mixes of rock, and I'm hoping that maybe I can catch them on this tour they're going on this fall. We'll see. I hope I get to see them though. They're a good band. Next up is Lorde's album Virgin that came out just a couple days ago. I've only listened to it twice, so I don't really have a ton to say about it yet. I haven't quite formed opinions on every song or put together everything that she's trying to say here. I don't really know too much about Lorde outside of her singles and all the popular songs of hers, but she's always been an artist that I've really respected. I think that she mixes alternative music and pop really well together, and I feel like she always has a little bit more to say about herself and about the world, more than most pop artists do. So that's always something I've really gravitated towards with her music. I really love the first side of this record. The first maybe 5 to 6 songs I think are really great. A little less so on the second half, but I still think it's a really good album all around. Okay, the next album I want to talk about is Citizen's Everybody Is Going to Heaven, which is just turning 10 this year. So they have a new sort of deluxe version of the album out, 10-year anniversary version with some demos and some 2 new songs, I believe, on here. This has never been a Citizen record that's like my favorite. It's not a go-to Citizen album for me. I'm enjoying this opportunity to really dive into this record in more of a real way and explore the songs. This is a good reason to check out this album again if you haven't listened to it in a while. It's really great. All Citizen albums are really great in my opinion. They're one of my favorite bands. This is the only one I don't own on vinyl, and I'm excited to pick up the 10-year anniversary one when it comes out in a couple months. The next album I want to talk about is Lagwagon's Let's Talk About Feelings. This is a pretty iconic skate punk record from the mid-90s. I don't really have too much to say about it. It's an awesome album. It's kind of perfect in my opinion, just like 12 songs, real quick, in and out. Some of my favorites, obviously May 16th is a great song. I like Owen Meany, I like Gun in Your Hand, Leave the Light On, lots and lots of awesome tracks on here. Really solid skate punk album. The next album I want to talk about is Stateside's Where You Found Me. I wasn't familiar with this band leading up to this album. I think I heard some of the singles, but I haven't heard any of the stuff they've done before this, which is just like a few EPs. This is a debut album from them. It's pretty cool because they have people like Joe Taylor from Knuckle Puck and David Lona on this record, so they got some features on here, which is cool. This is a really awesome pop punk record. It's kind of everything I would want from modern pop punk in terms of the production and the songwriting. I think it's a really great record, and I hope this band gets more attention over the years, and especially with this album. It will likely be on some end of year lists for me, so that's cool. I'm glad I checked this out. Another album that I've been listening to lately is Propagandi's Let's Talk More Rock. This is not a band I'm too familiar with. I never really checked them out when I was younger, and I'm coming to them now, and I really, really enjoy this album and this sort of style of punk rock, and I think it's something that just really appeals to me as I've gotten older. I need to check out the one that has the cleaning supplies on it. I forget what that one's called, but this album is really great. I know this is a lot of people's favorites, I think. This was a good introduction to this band. I'll probably put this on a few more times and just really get into this album. The next one I want to talk about is a pretty underrated band from the 2010s called Light Years, their last album, Afterlife. I don't know why this band wasn't bigger or why they're still not as big as maybe they were in the 2010s. I wasn't listening to them when this came out, but I've discovered this recently and I really dig it. I think that if you're a fan of the more traditional, I guess, Blink-182 style pop punk, this will probably appeal to you. Lots of really cool songs about growing up and hanging out, and I really love this record, and I need to check out more of their albums after this for sure. The next album I want to talk about is My Chemical Romance 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. This is the new re-release that has the 2025 mixes of all the songs, as well as a handful of live performances, things like that. And this is an album that has never been my favorite My Chemical Romance. I've always been more of a Black Parade guy, and even more of a Danger Days person to some extent. But I was really blown away by this remixed version of it. I don't normally listen to new mixes or remasters. It's not something I ever bother with, but I was hearing good things about what they did with the production on this remaster, and it's really great. These songs sound so good, and I don't know, I kind of want more bands to do this now that it's opened my eyes up a little bit to what we can do with this style of mixing. It sounds really awesome. I don't know if everyone loves it. I like it a lot though. I haven't really looked at the discourse in a little while around it. That is MCR's 3 Cheers. It's an album that is now growing on me quite a bit more. And then the last album I want to talk about today is Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. As most people know, Brian Wilson passed away a few weeks ago. The Beach Boys are a band that are very important to me. Some of the earliest memories I have of listening to music are with the Beach Boys. I remember we had the Songs of Summer sort of greatest hits, but I listened to a lot of their earlier records when I was younger, as well as this one. And this is just a great album. I don't really have a ton to add to the conversation around it. It's, a masterclass in songwriting and in songwriting production, obviously. Those are 10 albums that I've been listening to this past month. Thank you so much for tuning in as I ramble on and say a little bit about each of these albums. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by. See ya.